Today, this is about REVIVEPH, the project called Responsible Extraction of Various Valuable Elements in the Philippine Laterite Deposits. With me are researchers from the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute. As a background, we were given an award to do what we call the Philippine Remediation of Mine Tailings, which with some partners from the Philippines, UP Diliman, Los Baños, and UK partners from Leicester, Reading, Exeter, and the British Geological Survey, aimed to show that tailings can be monitored and adaptively managed in real time, and to enable the processing of modern and legacy tailings to recover metals using novel solvents while decontaminating them, that thereby encouraging rehabilitation, stabilization, and the reuse of associated ecosystem services. These are new technologies, but then very holistic to try to address the issues of recovering metals responsibly and environmentally responsibly. We were given collaboration and permission with Felix to conduct experiments that are going on. So experiments that are being done in barrels, that are being done on the ground, and we're able to conduct direct field measurements on how we can extract metals from tailings. This one, the target was mostly for copper and Felix. Now, but in current times, the Philippines suffered its fourth recession in 29 years, and Philippine mining has been uh, cited as a potential contributor to its growth. It contributed $102 billion to the Philippine gross domestic product, and it could help spur the economies. Now, the issue is that being one of the world's leading suppliers of nickel, most of the ores that we have are coming from limonite ores and saprolite ores. And the prices that we get for them are follows: $43 or $64. These are basically open pit mine, and then you scrape them off and put it in a slow ship to the market, and most of this is going to China. Now, while the Philippines mining companies are being paid for the nickel content, our previous studies in UP Diliman show that every ton of uh, Philippine laterites also have high concentrations of critical metals, cobalt and scandium. For example, the limonite ores, the cobalt content is from 0.7 to 0.9%, and saprolite ores 0.2 to 0.3%, and the scandium contents are ranging from 59 to 73 in the limonite ore and 24 to 31 in scandium ores. Now, that's important because cobalt, especially, and scandium are critical metals in battery manufacturers, which is important in the current drive to have climate resilient energies, making the manufacturing of batteries. And we have very high presence in the world market, which means that if we're able to recover these metals, we would actually substantially increase the value of the ores that we have. We cannot mine and then recover them in the Philippines simply because several reasons: the very high cost of electricity to process them, and so we're forced to actually export them whole, unprocessed. The objective of this study that we have been funded is to use low-cost and environmental-friendly novel solvents in extracting and recovering the valuable metals in the Philippine nickel laterite deposits. Specifically, to utilize novel solvents in recovering the valuable metals, nickel, cobalt, scandium, limonite, and saprolite ores of nickel laterites in the Philippines, and to conduct integrated geological, geochemical, geophysical, and hydrogeological studies in potential sites for purification with C2 solvents. It's also good to inform that there are companies that are in fact recovering nickel and cobalt in ores like Nickel Asia, but they're using high pressure acid leaching, which is using a lot of acids and which are not easy to manage environmentally. Our approach is to use organic eutectic solids. These are the novel solvents that are at the same time highly ionic and environmentally responsible. As a scientific framework, the Australian Mines Limited study last year suggested that a eutectic solution leaching technology is a great potential alternative for reducing treatment and recovery alternatives for feedstock. And so, if we're able to do this in the Philippines, we will not only be more environmentally responsible, but will actually increase the value of the ores that we're dealing. For example, in the limited study, they used low-grade laterite ores and through experimental studies using the eutectic leaching characteristics. It showed 100% leaching, cobalt, 97% nickel, and 94% scandium, which are incredible recoveries of these metals using these either to not use solutions. And so the methodology that we propose, of course, is to field work and sample collect your supplies and then prepare the novel solvents in the laboratory and do plant scale leaching and testing, and then the selective recoveries of cobalt, scandium via electrode deposition after they have been extracted by the novel solvents. And to do and observe the recovery, we will also do geophysical monitoring of the novel solvents underground and to see if this whole thing is technically feasible. So it's currently uh, really innovative. Uh, this hasn't been done in a large scale, but the promise is very big. So the eutectic solvents are basically produced by you mix two solids to make a liquid. And this is the useful thing about this. Looking at the video, the two solids become a liquid, but the resulting liquids have very high ionic power, which means that they can actually be very strong dissolvers of metals. And in some studies, this was done on copper ores. You can see the leaching of the eutectic solvents are quite dramatic. As you can see in the slides, either able to, even only after 10 minutes, it's able to totally dissolve copper-bearing minerals. And we want to do and see if this can be applied to the nickel ores. And once the liquid has been extracted containing the metals, they can actually be electrochemically deposited using reduction and are able to get the metals. So if this is successful, it's possible to avoid the very expensive smelting process. And for example, in copper experiments, 99% of the copper has been leached, and laterite, greater than 90% of the nickel and cobalt, and 80% of the scandium can be leached. This is demonstrated in part by the doctoral dissertation of Patelli at the University of Leicester, which showed that there is a lot of promise in using the solutions in potentially extracting these important elements. The most important impact if it's successful is that we will be able to potentially eradicate surface mining and open pit mining and replace this by simply injecting the solutions into the ores without uh, great superficial impact, and then also eliminates smelting. So surface mining, open pit mining, and smelting are the ugly portions of mining, and this can be replaced by deep eutectic solvents. The solutions will be just processed with very little surface uh, contamination and potentially with much lower cost. So no more surface mining, open pit mining, and smelting, and instead you have the solvent mining or the salt solution mining, but using radically different and novel solvents. The impact of this is that reduce the costs of refinery, and then you're able to reduce the environmental impacts, and we will have much higher recovery. So these are uh, very, very uh, optimistic objectives, and the promise potential is very high. So it's worth pursuing